All the frogs seeing wide, get a clear view. People coming with the tides like we church and pew. Haters putting them aside, yeah, I often do. Some claiming to be friends.
People, this is Inflewence, and back with a review of Fans Toys FT-41 Sheridan, which is a masterpiece of the mini bot Warpath. And just to show you some of the detailings, he's in tank mode now. Just for first impressions is very hefty. It's nice. It comes in robot form, so of course I'm going from tank to robot. It's kind of Fans Toy-ish transformation, which is par for the course. But the color, the paint and the color is like wonderful. Like, I like it. It's like a rust type color. It's not red, and it's, like I said before, it's hefty. You can look under. I can't get this to tab in. Probably some way that I've transformed it, maybe. I don't know, but you can't see many robot parts. You can tell this is the legs, but not really. It's little flaps. There's a few little flaps and stuff that you need to fold out, like these, where they connect. They're not connected as well, and maybe that all has something to do with the way I connected this. I'm not sure. I do have a couple places that are paint coming off, and I'll point those out so you can be careful. I know a lot of people don't transform Fans Toys products because of the paint issue. It's beautifully painted. All this is paint. I think the whole thing is painted. It's mostly one color, but it does have a breakup. There's a lot of die cast on this, but even the plastic parts kind of feel like die cast because it has the same paint. So if you see the detail, you can see the details. I like that they kind of took it real world this time. I know they've been going with the tune accurate, and depending on, this is accurate depending on the way it was drawn, but I'm not sure if they had all the detailings. And Sheridan, I believe there's Sheridan tank on that, but I've heard of that before, so I think that's why it's called Sheridan, because it's based off of the tank model. Now this goes out and in. You can see I closed these. They're kind of difficult to open, but it's a little hatch that can open. I guess that's how you get in the tank in real life. This doesn't go all the way around. It stops right here because of this and these little bits, so you can get it that far and that far because both sides have those little bits. I don't know if you can kind of lift it up and it'll break up the sculpt a little, but you can kind of lift it up and then get it all the way back if you want. So you can do that, but it's not really made to do that, of course. I guess that's it for tank mode. So I just want to compare tank mode with, I don't have War Dog, but I do have this Final Victories. And of course, this is a much different toy than this, as you would expect. But to me, the price isn't that far apart. So I think Fans Toys did a good job with this release as far as the heft and the feel and all of that, because it's more realistic. As you can see, it's more realistic in tank mode. These treads don't move and there's no wheels. Has good looks. Looks like tank treads. These are like just plastic. I think this is die cast, or some of it's die cast, or all of it's die cast. I can't tell. To tell you the truth, it's hard to tell what is die cast and what is not on here because of the paint. You can see a little contrast between the paint of here and here, but this is really red. This does not have the amount of detail that this has in this. But then again, you get 3 figures for the same price that you can get this 1 figure for. But I do think you can feel why this is a more expensive and better looking toy than this, or I should say collector's item, because this more feels like a toy and this more feels like what we want it to feel like. collecting as adult collectors. So enough of that. I think that's pretty much the comparison that I'm going to make. And I can say this is way more cartoon accurate, good or bad, because they're, depending on how it's drawn, I'm glad they didn't go cartoon accurate with this. You check out the box. Same product shots. Of course, we have the book, the card, and the mask, which is from that one episode where they were dressed up. I forget what it's called, but it's just held on by tension, and we'll check it out so we can get to transformation. I like to do the legs first. I go from legs to arms, and I do the upper body first, going back to tank. I think it's easier. So just have this up here like that. You can split this off, kind of pull it out from both sides. It's like tabbed on. It has a tab in there. It's pretty tight, and of course you gotta be careful. And then that accordion out, you can flip this down just so you don't forget. That's just there as like a filler piece. Just leave that like this, and we'll work on these legs. It's tabbed on a number of places. It's tabbed on this thing in the middle, and it encompasses the torso, and you'll see what I mean. So you can just pull it apart. It's not bad. The first time it's kind of bad. It encompasses the torso right there. Let's pour that like that. And do the same over here. Then you can just flip all this up here and turn it around, because now I just leave all that and get this to work. Here is some of the items that you need to be cognizant of. This thing right here, this pin has to go up to break this leg out, and it goes down when you keep it like this. But let's get this first. I just want you to understand, and there's some things you have to line up in order to have this peg go to the leg, and if you don't do that, then that's when you start running into problems. So this you can flip back. It's like a filler piece to block that. Pull this out. It's out already as far as it goes, so it's kind of tight. So you just want to try to break that connection and put it like that. So just leave that like that. This pushes up to make it flat, and then there's a little tab. Now this ain't how the directions are telling you, but this is the order that I go. It's mainly just whatever you can do, but some of this stuff you have to do in order, not break it. But once you untab that, then you can move this whole leg this way. At the same time, you're trying to move this. So you're trying to get this over, or you can move it this way. Let me see. Yeah, move it down that way, because then you're trying to get leverage to move this. So now you should be able to move this, move that. So this is going this way while this is spinning back. Then you can spin it and it goes inside. You know you have it right, because when you push this down, this will latch onto there. So it kind of gets it. Then you see that groove? The groove, see how you can turn the leg like that and the two grooves aren't matched up? The groove's matched up once you do that, and you can see his paint all off. And then you can push this thing into there. But you have to make sure this is up as well. Now it goes. Now that goes in and keeps the leg. So basically you have a leg done. Push this up and that's it. Come over here, I'm gonna show this a little better. Again, you wanna flip this up. Then you wanna try to get this out and pull it down. It's kind of hard. It's together tight. Then you just push this flat and you pull this little piece out. It kind of gives the illusion of double tire treads, like it's together. Now you can work on this leg. Now you be careful with this leg. You want to flip this out. Get this off right here. I'm gonna turn it like this. These are really tight joints too. You can get a nail in there. It's because of the paint. It's terrible. It's tight. My nails are not together. They done broke off because they done ripped off. I mean, down to the, I ain't have no nails really, but they down to the nubs. So get this off like this, and trying to show the best angle. Of course, you want this up, and to move this leg, this moves like this, and this also moves. So you're moving that at the same time you're moving this. And what you want to line up is that hole. So once you get it probably to like right here, then you can move this in and make sure. Yeah. So then you can move this. Sorry, I'm in front of it. And continue to move this around to get this to be able, you know, it's inside and you know you got it right when this flips and it's straight and it goes into this peg. Then you just want to make sure that this is lined up. See the double? It's like a double notch that this goes into. If it's lined up right, it'll go in right. If it's not lined up right, it won't go in, and that's when people have been I think they've been snapping off their legs because it puts pressure on that other pin. Then this part, push down, kind of straps it. Then you push the leg up. And now we have a leg. Now we have legs. So that's the legs. You gotta have these in specific orders. So you wanna pull this out, move this way. I put this up like this because you're gonna wanna put this down through here. And the only way that'll fit is if it's like this. And then you have this like, so it gives enough clearance. Then right here, this is tabbed in to these 3 things, or 6 things, I should say. 3 on each side. Doesn't matter what order, as long as you're not trying to push it through, getting these together. Now these come off for me. When I'm going this way, this one comes off all the time. But you just want to flip it up. It will come off. Then you want to flip this through. It should be enough clearance if you get it right that you can just clear. You can get this through clear. And now you're like this. So then you can fold these arms, pull this out, and just get them like this, just to be able to deal with them later. Now this goes back. So when you have this straight like this, in order for that clearance for this to go through, this will not go up. So you want to move this like that in order to give this clearance to go up and through to pass this arm. Then you can move that back. Like now this I often have trouble with. You gotta fold this like up like that, and then fold this up there and like this. So you fold it up. It doesn't fold all the way. This end doesn't, but it's I think folded up as much as it can be. It cradles in here, and then you can get this head up in order to get the clearance that you need to push this all the way down. And you see it's square now. Get his body, you accordion it back, and it tabs in. So now his body is somewhat. So I like to get this first. You gotta get these things right because they sometimes are not. You want to push this up. In order for his head to fit, he kind of wears this thing. And you see these are accordion down. You can tell if it's right because this little square thing sticks up. Oh, and another thing, make sure you push this back. This square should be all the way out, and then it kind of pegs in there. And that's probably that might be why I couldn't get it, because then you can kind of lift this up and squeeze it together and see how it tabs in, and then it'll tab in there. So then I'll work on these arms, which I didn't need to get it off camera because I just didn't have it right. Again, you see how it's like kind of hard. It's just fitting. And you want to get this, and yeah, that right there is kind of hard. You'll have the third one on each in the front sticking out. So then this brow goes in. Now these arms, if you have all this right, this will go in here, those two holes, these two things, and it'll fit right. And it doesn't peg in tight. The first time I got it, it did peg in tight, but it doesn't peg in tight. And you can put this down as well. With these arms, it's a tight joint. It's like a accordion joint. So I like to hold this because it doesn't feel good because it's so tight to pull this joint out. I kind of get my thumb in here and hold this and then pull this out. Because as you see it, it's like a butterfly joint almost. And now you can flip this. This kind of flips over. And it'll stop here on, but that's how you want it. You want it back. And then there goes the little bit of arm. This, you want to do the same thing. Like I said, I try to hold this as much as possible. And then pull this out. Because it's tight, and it's even more so when you first get it. Then you can flip this around. I try to, all right, there we go. Because then you won't scrape. And flip this around, and it'll stop automatically on that thing. It won't on that little nudge. That little. Then these, just your normal, pull the arm out. And angle this back. It's not really, it doesn't tab on or anything. Then your normal hand action. And the hands aren't that tight to get out, which is cool, but they are tight to rotate. Like, it feels like that mushroom peg is a wrap. But I'm hoping not. Damn, can I not get this? This is it, you know, when you're doing it behind the camera, I say it all the time. I always say it, but it's crazy. So then turn the hand up, and then you can get this kind of joint like where you want it. It's still tight, so be careful. And you can get it in a little better. You can actually push it all the way in if you want to give it a little better look. Get this again. Pull that out. This back. Lift that up. Fist isn't hard to get out. I know one thing, this side goes in all the way. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. At least it seemed like before, but this side I can't get in. I'm sure if I work it, it can, but I just not in the mood for for working that. Now you have him in robot mode. There's Warpath. So there you have Warpath in robot mode, and he's great. He's great looking. This won't fit all the way. It could, see, it stayed in, but it, I don't know if it, yeah, it's supposed to fit all the way in there. So yeah, there you go. I got it in there now. That's really tight. So articulation, well, first we're gonna compare him to some bots. We'll see this is just friction on. So he looks quite ridiculous, but looks accurate. And that stays on fine. His articulation, he has waist swivel, and it can get you all the way around if you would like. So that's good. He has ab crunch, which is great. It's very tight though. You can pull this out if you want a longer barrel, or push it in. His head moves. Paint is wonderful. Goes up that way. That way doesn't have that wide range of motion. His eyes and face sculpt is great. Kind of reminds me of Snake Eyes, and he always did. For my G.I. Joe people. You got this. He has this. Let me see. He has all the way around, but you have to get it out on here. So once you pull it out, he has all the way around, and then he has up. That same for the other side. But when he's just chilling, it doesn't look right. So I like it in more, but then you have this peg back here that's blocking the movement. So it's kind of blocking the range of motion. Elbow more than 90 degrees. He has this stuff going on, which is accurate, but I don't know how much I like that. What else? He has skirts that get out the way. Has a single, doesn't have a skirt in the back, has a single front skirt. That doesn't really bother me that much. I know it bothers some people, so take that with what you will. He has no ratchets, but the joints are so tight. Yeah, I was about to say I spoke too soon, but yeah, he has no ratchets, but you get that far, that much. But the joints are super tight joints. So I don't see an issue with not having ratchets. He has swivel at the top, and his knee goes about 90 degrees. I thought he could get more. If you could see that, you see my knee is loose. So that's concerning. This one isn't like that. He can get 90 degrees, but you see this one doesn't really move. It moves a little bit, but it's great paint off right there. It's unfortunate right on his knee where you can see it. But yeah, this leg is quite loose. And ankle rocker feet. He has deep ankle rockers. He can go down, he can pivot somewhat. It does get in the way right here. And he can have a little bit of toe tilt. Doesn't have any other accessories like a gun or anything. So let's compare him to some other bots. First, Sea Spray. He's much taller than Sea Spray. I always see him with these guys. I mean, I know they're all mini bots, but Power Glide, I always associate them together. And he's definitely taller than both of those. He has length. He's very lengthy. And bringing final victories, Warpath, and as you see, It is quite different toys. This is more in line with the cartoon. I do believe he's a little big, but I always believed he was bigger than the rest of the mini bots. It's because he was a tank, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Scales all over the place anyway. He's great. So these are definitely two different toys, two different figures. This has paint all over. It's like a deep maroon. This is more of a red. Well, it's more of a maroon, but it's not as deep as this. This is red, so that's the control. But I'm not mad at somebody who wants this. But this is more of a play around figure. I'll still keep this. I'll still mess with it. I probably won't transform this again because I'm already rubbing paint off. But it's a great figure for the collection. So yeah, this is I do recommend this figure, especially if you like the aesthetic and like the non-cartoon, like extreme accurate cartoon. I'm so glad they didn't go with extreme accurate cartoon. But then again, like I said, different drawings. They were all over the place as usual with the cartoon. And I think, I ain't show it from the back either. Pretty clean bot. Again, they amaze me with their engineering. I know some people don't like it, but in order to get a clean bot as they do in an accurate bot, the aesthetics and still get the accurate tank, I think it's great. It's great, and I'm looking forward to their Astro Train because that looks wonderful as well. So I think there's a few figures before that though. But if you like this video, please give me a like, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.
Life ain't over. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high.